welcome first-time superhero Shirley Grimes. Today, she will be presenting her session, No Effing Filters. Please stick around after Shirley's session for a live Q&A.
Welcome to Business Central Training with DynamicsCon. I'm super excited that I got enough votes that you guys wanted to see my presentation. I'm super thankful to DynamicsCon for putting on this amazing training opportunity that I think is going to be beneficial to so many people in the community. So I'm super excited and I love the theme, so it's a lot of fun. So I hope that we can have a lot of fun together. Let's go ahead and get started. So if you are at the right class or right training, it was called No Effing Filter. And hopefully by the end of this, you will walk away not saying, I don't have a filter for this. And I'm hoping that we can talk about the tool itself and the potential that it holds, because I know personally for me, it has been a phenomenal tool that has solved so many problems in my workplace. It has reduced the amount of countless things that I used to spend time sending to people and filtering out information and providing people with that documentation or the different materials that they needed from Business Central. Filtering has been a game changer. So I know we're headed to lunchtime, so hopefully we can keep the energy up and be super excited about this. So hopefully you walk away with a lot of information. You're saying, I don't have no effing filter for that anymore. Hopefully you do. I am Shirley Grimes. I am an end user. I've been an end user for about 10 years. I started my journey with an old software system called Cougar Mountain. It was a black and green screen system, and it was terrible. And so we moved into Nav, and I felt like that was the latest and greatest amazing thing in the world up until 3 years ago when we went cloud-based with Business Central. And that has changed so much of the way I do my work, and it's given me so much time back to my kids and my family, just the amount of possibilities that there are in Business Central. And it's a changing platform that's continuing to update. And filters have been one of those tools that I just feel like needs to be talked about more, because it does have endless potential. So Shirley Grimes, I am an account supervisor and project manager at Gulf Coast Panama Jack. We are a wholesale distributor of anything beach supply related. So I do enjoy a good beach day, and we sell everything for the beach. So it definitely works hand in hand. I am also a mother to, I'm a foster mom first, and then I just recently adopted my daughters and my son. And so you can see there I have 5 children. So my desire to speak actually comes from wanting to be an inspiration to my children. And I hope that my daughters one day can look up to me, and my son as well, and see me as a role model and an influence in the community. And that's all I'm hoping to do, is to continue to influence other children and daughters and sons to hopefully speak what they know about. So all right, so let's get to the fun. Session objectives. So hopefully we can have a little bit of fun. I know it's lunchtime, so I definitely don't want to bore you guys, but there's so much potential with filters and saving different lists. You can save, move, delete, make formulas, make them more complex. You can make filters so simple to a more advanced, complex filtering system. And this is going to save you time, save it in your screen, and it's customizable to you. So I might not be able to answer the questions of what problems you have and how to solve it. But hopefully throughout this session, you can start thinking about the ways that you can change your work life and your work styles and put the information in the hands of the people that need it. So lots of different information we're going to cover. That's our objectives, is hopefully you walk away with some different dates and formulas and filtering and layering and the benefit it has for you. So why do I love filters too? Well, it's because it's in so many different places. It's everywhere in Business Central. It's in sales orders, sales quotes. It's in posted documents, items, journals, customer cards, ledgers. It's almost everywhere you go in Business Central. You'll always see those little icons at the top. And I feel like that little icon is always there. So there's a potential of filter everywhere in Business Central that you go. So that's the reason I love it, because it's everywhere and it can serve a huge need. So where is my filter button? That's the first thing you're going to ask. How do I get started? Where's my filter button? Maybe you're looking into Business Central, or you're just getting started. You don't know where it is. First thing I'm going to tell you, you've got your 5 little icons at the very top. They are all very useful. I love every single one of them, but there are some that I love a little bit more than others. And edit in Excel is one, but filtering is my top one because of how many problems it has solved. And I'll kind of try to go through some of those problems be kind of like a case study situation where I show you examples of how it's changed my life. Hopefully you can apply them to your business or different ways that you can solve your problems. First thing I'm going to say is there is your filter. I always say it looks like a nice martini glass. When talking to anybody, it's easier to tell them head to the martini glass than to head to the funnel, because they're going to have a little bit harder time finding that. But when you say martini glass, number one, it's going to take the ease off, and they're going to easily find it. So you can say to the left of the martini, to the right of the martini. You've got your different views to the right, you've got your information, your fact boxes can be shown. But I love a good martini, right? Who doesn't? So why not have fun at work? So let's talk about the possibilities. Filter list is the first one that you're going to see when you pop up your screen. It's going to pop up to the left-hand side. And it's going to ask, what do you want to filter? Filter list has so many options. I just want to talk about this for a minute, because when people say, I can't filter that, or I don't think this will apply to me, I highly doubt it, because there is up to 122, sometimes 180 different filter lists that you can filter by. Some of those are customers or shipped to, and it all different changes depending on what screen you're on, right? You could have something from a lot number to a shipping agent to a department to a cost center to customer price groups. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I mean, there's 180 of them sometimes available. You've got comments that you can filter from. So I would just explore that list and definitely spend your time scrolling through that information to find what information you need to filter. Next, filter totals. Sometimes this can range from 2 up to about 10, depending on what screen you're on. I think the sales orders have 3 filter totals, and items have anywhere from 10 different filter totals. Some of those are dates, lot expirations, location code is my favorite. And then that way you can really dive into seeing information a little bit quicker without going into the item card and filtering that out. So definitely use your list. Now, if you're on a screen or in a window and you're having a hard time filtering out information, one thing I would tell you is make sure your show system filters is not blocking your information, because if you're inside a customer and you go straight to the ledger and you're like, I can't filter this, I want to see more, it might be due to that you went into that customer card. So it's going to be system filter on it. If you went into items, you went into item references, then that's going to have that system filter. So you could just clear from there, and then you have a lot more potential with it. And you could deep dive into a lot more knowledge and information that you can save as lists. So this is the beginning. This is where you need to know to find all your stuff. And don't forget, Shift plus F3 is going to be the easy way to turn on and off your filter. Turn on and off your martini glass. All right, so now we're going to talk about inserting and different values to make it quicker. When you're in a column, you can right-hand click and do ascending and descending. This is great for dates, shipment dates. You can do ascending to descending. Maybe it's based on your dollar amount on an item or your cost. You can do ascending and descending on that, so you can kind of put it in range. But there's so much data out there, right? There's so much information, and maybe you don't want to see it all. This simplifies it, gets a little bit more accurate, and brings it a little bit tighter, because we all have a lot of information we got to view, and a lot of things could be missed when you're viewing it that way. So I would just say use your ascending and descending, and then you can also save it that way too. So you want it to always show from the oldest to the newest. You can definitely save it that way. And then I would say right-hand click and filter to this value. So if you're on a value that you know you need, for example, ship to code, if you're on a certain store and you know that's what you want to look at, you can filter to this value. It's going to, boom, pop right into there. And I'll show you a little example with that. If you're on a column that you already need, you don't have to go over there and scroll through the list. You could just right-hand click and know that you need to filter to that column. It's going to make it a little bit quicker, more convenient, and we all want to get our time back, right? Productivity increasing is the end goal. And don't forget to clear those filters, because if you're going in and you're searching something, you have a filter on, you're not going to find that. I want to talk about the views, because there are 2 different ways. I mean, in BC, there's 900 ways to get somewhere. I know I sit down with my colleagues and I know how to do something, and they might go a whole different route. I love that, but it's all depending on the way you want to view it. So I do want to talk about 2 different views. One is whenever you have your filter on, you're going to have the views to the left-hand side. These are going to be your list that you save, that you create and design, and you're going to save those. Your second one is going to be the top. This one's personally my favorite, because it gives me more of my screen, and I can just, those lists that I've created, I can just drop down and have all those little saved views. It makes it convenient, easy, and fast. All right, so here's a little clip hoping this plays for you guys. But this is a little clip that's going to show you demoing that. So you see right there, I've got that selected and I was able to filter to this value. And then it was able to very quickly filter that. I cleared it. And then I'm going to go up to salesperson code. And then I'm going to filter to this value. So only brought in that salesperson MD. Isn't that convenient and easy? You can see on the left-hand side, it's going to pop up that column that you need, making it a lot faster and a lot quicker to filter out your information. I mean, you can pull it to Excel all you want, and Excel is an amazing tool, but sometimes do you have to? Or if you could just save these lists that you're consistently seeing, and maybe you're consistently viewing a certain salesperson's open sales orders, save that list and make it more convenient for you. Filter formulas. Let's talk about the different formulas you could do. Yes, you could do filter lists, filter values, and we could definitely start playing around with some of those. But you can actually use formulas inside your filters to make them more complex and more advanced, and a lot more fun. So what I would say is your AND is going to be able to combine different formulas together. Your greater than and less than is all numbers except for 0. So if you do that and then you do the 0, it's going to all numbers except for 0. Numbers greater than 50. So you've got the greater than 50, less than 50. So maybe you're looking at a quantity on hand on items. You got your numbers less than and equal to 50. So maybe you want it less than, but then you also want it to include the 50. Numbers greater than 50, but less than 10. On this one is a great example of combining a formula with the AND. It's going to pull those two formulas together and be able to bring them in as one. I love this one. Text is empty. We all know when inputting information, there are times that maybe a department is missing information and they're not filling out documents that you want to have filled out. So text is empty. You're going to do 2 single quotes. So you're going to do 2 single quotes. It's going to show you what field is empty. Not case sensitive. The @ sign is going to allow you to see things that are not case sensitive. I know with us, we have multiple buyers that come in, and sometimes they type it all uppercase. Sometimes they do upper and lowercase. I have seen that across the board not be consistent. So doing that, knowing that formula out front is going to allow you to filter out different information and be able to see the different way you can filter. Text, the word's going to contain right there. You're going to see that example up to 25 numbers and up. Okay. So an example of the text that contains word. So you can see here, I did the stars with the co, and it's going to be able to either find company or corporation. So you can see the benefit that can hold and being able to find it. Maybe it's has a space or whatever. That's going to allow you to find that. Another example is our range, and I didn't talk about this one, but our ... is going to allow us to go from January 1st, 2024 all the way to 12/31/24. So that's a great way to do range. You could do it from October 1st to the end of October, however way you want to do it. Dates. I love dates. And why do I love dates? Because dates have been used in almost every single one of my formulas that have been designed to provide a team member the request that they were asking for me monthly. It has taken it off my desk, put it in their hands, into their Business Central as a list that I no longer have to send to them consistently. And that is by using dates, because those dates can move. So today, if you put a T, it's going to pull in today's information. Rather, tomorrow, it's going to pull in tomorrow's information, and it's always going to move with you. So it might pull in November 11th. If today's November 11th, when I get into the system tomorrow, it's going to pull in November 12th, and it's going to consistently follow you and follow that information. So you've got Monday for M, Tuesday for TU, WE for Wednesday, TH for Thursday, F for Friday, SA for Saturday, SU for Sunday, and then accounting periods. These are also very helpful to people in accounting. This is going to depend on how you have your accounting period set up. So you're going to search at the very top right-hand side. You're going to look up your accounting period and how you have it set up in your ERP system, Business Central. And depending on how you have it set up, that is going to pull that information in. For example, I have mine set up as monthly. So P1 is January, P2 is February. You get the gist. Moving forward, last day of the current month. So if you type in CM, it's going to pull up the last day of the current month. Type in CW, last day of the current week, and it does pull into Sunday. 5 days, you're going to do F or 5D. That's going to represent 5 days from today. 3W, 3 weeks from today, and minus 1 year from today. and then last year. So if you want to include everything from last year, great for the accounting team. You're going to do this little formula, which is minus 1 year, minus current year, ... current year minus 1 year. You can see it there. I also want to bring up my other favorite formula, and I'm going to share this with you, but current month formula has been the one that has served the most benefit for me, because I'm able to put this on a dashboard for a sales rep or an accounting person, and it's being able to pull in the current month information. That is the current month we're in. If I am in November, it's only going to pull in November's information. And then when it changes to December 1st, it's then going to only pull in December's. But I wanted to capture sometimes the stuff behind me, last month's information, because sometimes I'm still closing out last month, right? So I included this previous month formula. This is going to obtain, so if I'm in November, it's going to pull it up October. But the minute I move over to December, I'm going to have my current and I'm going to have my November still. So it allows me to still have that information. And there's crazy ways you can create these formulas. What I would say to you, get in there, explore. There is probably 800 plus formulas out there that you can design and put together and manipulate to do what you want it to do. You just have to get in there. These are the top ones that I use on a daily basis. So I just thought this would be very helpful to somebody to have. So I think there's a lot of other ways we can do it. That's what I have for that. So let's talk about when you're finally getting in there and you're putting in all this information and you have it exactly how you want it to be. The formula is going, and you've got your filter list and your filter totals, and you've kind of created what you want. First thing you're going to do is look for those 3 little olives. Okay, it's actually other options, but I call it the olives in your martini because you're filtering and you want to be able to save that information. So you're going to be able to click on your 3 olives, other options, and then you're going to save as. And from here, you're going to be able to save that list. You're going to be able to name it whatever you want to name it. You could call it hot items. You can call it your POD list, last month's records, last month's posted invoices, whatever you want to call it. And then from there, you're able to rename your information. So say you mess it up and maybe you want to rename it because everyone's not understanding what it is. Maybe it's last month's credits, last month's unapplied payments, whatever it might be. You can rename it and then share it with somebody. So also, don't forget that you can hide something. So if something is not relevant, if it's seasonal kind of situation, so if you have a list and you're only using it during a certain time of year, you can definitely hide that, make that list a little bit prettier. And then you would go up to personalize to add that in. So why are list filters so important, Shirley? And like I told you, I'm just going to talk from the heart. I'm going to speak on what I know, how it's helped me, how it's changed. And it's not because it's a martini glass. Although I do love a good martini. I think this guy is super freaking cute and I made him a co-pilot. So I love filters because they have taken away a lot of the everyday tasks that I was doing and putting in the hands of the people that need it. Here's one of my live examples. So one of the examples I have is I had a supervisor and I was having a lot of documents be posted without tracking information. So I wanted to put it in her hands. I wanted to stop spending my time pulling it out to Excel, highlighting all the fields and trying to find all the information, her going through very tediously trying to figure out which ones didn't have tracking information. So I wanted to create a filter, save it, give it to her, and then now she has it in her hands. So one of the things I did right here, you can see on the left-hand side, I've got the columns marked completely shipped, yes. And this is up to you. You can play around with this, make it your own, but then a package tracking number. And I did the single quotes that's going to show if that field is empty. Okay. Shipping agent code. I did the greater than and less than, and I excluded the delivery stuff. So it's only going to pull in the ones that I have carrier information for. And you can go very complex with this. You can do it with the and, you can make it complex. You can do an and sign and make it a little bit deeper if you want. And this is going to pull up everything that was tracking. What I did with this is I set this filter up on her screen. I put it on her list. I saved it, tracking missing. And then I went into her Outlook or helped her get into her Outlook and set a reminder. So every Monday she checks to see if there's any package tracking information. And that has really helped the team not miss that information because we definitely want our package tracking numbers to be associated with our posted documents. It's a great way to track it. All right, let's talk about another field. So opposite to that, I had another person come to me and they said, well, it's always supposed to be blank up until the point that we need the information in the field. So what they were looking for was when the field had something inside of it. And I said, well, we could do greater than 0. She said, it's not always numerical. So then I had to go to the drawing books, and I'm telling you, it's just sitting down and playing around with it and seeing if it works. So I just did the greater than single quotation or single quotes, which means greater than empty, right? And then that was able to show me your reference every time it was filled out, and that allowed them to have that filter when it was relevant to them. So that was a very important one. I know I just kind of sat down and tried to dissect it and figure out the different way to formulate that. This one is important to me because I started off as an order entry specialist, and we spent a lot of time with paper. Everything was paper, and I remember being so stressed out about losing certain paperwork, especially with carriers, right? We had very important shipments that had to go out, and I would sit there overthinking, did I get all my shipments? Did R&L get all the shipping carriers that I needed? So we'd actually have like paperwork lined up, and it would just be like R&L, Saya, Old Dominion. And then we'd get all the paperwork. And then if they showed up early, then I was stressing. So I created this formula for the order entry team that kind of showed them if a carrier pulls up, they can quickly go to this filter and feel secure about how many documents needed to be shipped out, how much carriers they needed to ship that day. So what I did for this one, because 01 is the location code that I was at for my home office, I did 01 location code, and I did shipment date today. Now remember, this is going to move with them. So they're not having to change this. It's always going to be relevant. And I could also do tomorrow. So if they wanted to see what was shipping tomorrow versus today, I could do R&L pickups today versus tomorrow. And then I did shipping agent code R&L. And this has been a game changer. When a carrier pulls up, UPS, R&L, any of that stuff, they can very quickly go in and see all the orders that should have been shipped out. And if not, they just need to change the information. This is something to be noted about the fact that everything needs to be accurate in the system. And this has been very helpful in making sure that they're updating their documentation, the shipment dates, and stuff like that. So carrier, shipping, super beneficial. Let's talk about the purchasing side. I don't really come from the purchasing side, but I thought this, if I was a purchaser, I'd want to know this kind of information. Something that's low in stock, but not on a purchase order, right? Those are things that maybe we should be double checking to make sure that are we purchasing it, because we're almost out. And what I did here is it's less than 50 pieces. You can see there my quantity on hand is only showing things that are less than 50 pieces. So I barely have any. And then I did an item category code. And I did the stars, and I just said swim gear because I have multiple item categories with swim gear. I've got swim gear masks, swim gear inflatables. So I wanted to cover all swim gear versus covering just one small category. And then I did quantity on hand, purchase order. I did greater than or equal to 0. So meaning that there's nothing on purchase order, right? So these might be ones I need to look at. And you can play around with this all that you want. You could break it down a little bit further. Maybe there's 4 or 5 different items that you want to set up that you want to definitely keep track of and make sure that you always have those in stock. All right. So before in my life, I used to spend a countless amount of time pulling things out to Excel and highlighting. As you see here, I would highlight the different columns, pull it out through Excel, and I would send probably 4 times a month to my sales team a list of proof of deliveries that I needed from them. And I'm telling you, the amount of time I spent was endless because my sales team would spend the time and they would maybe turn in 1 or 2 to me. And then they'd say, can I get another list? I'll say, you don't know how to mark that off? And all I was doing was pulling it out of Business Central. So I thought there's got to be a better way that I can get this in their hands, that they can consistently see it without me continuously emailing it to them all the time. Sometimes I'd have to take it and send it to each person. I mean, I was spending countless hours updating them with where they were at in the month, last month, and current month. So, like I talked about earlier, I love current and last month. So for Magic Mike, I've created this last month formula and I've set up that salesperson code. And then I did the last month formula and then I saved it to his screen and I said, Magic Mike, you just go into your BC system and you just look at this formula and it's going to give you exactly what you're missing. And the minute that you're not, it's going to go away because I'm going to post it to post a document. So it just helped put the information in his hand and he's able to have it with him. And I'm sure that you guys all work with super efficient people that never ask you for reports. So this might not be beneficial to you. But if you do, if you have somebody on your team that's always asking for something out of BC, how could you speed up that process? How could you create a formula, create some kind of list that they can have and obtain and say, hey, here's that list I'm sending you every month. I've just decided to put it in your hands, and that we have access to it at all times, anytime you need it. So if you have somebody on your team like that, this might be super beneficial. And this is going to show Magic Mike's current month, so this month that we're in. So it's going to show Magic Mike and where he's at. A couple other things we can eventually talk about if you want, but I created like if things have back orders, and that I used by doing comments. Current month formula, there's your formula for your current month. I hope everybody's still awake. Hope everybody's still having fun and learning a lot. And hopefully you're seeing the potential. You're starting to think about the problems that you can solve, because it's endless potential with filters. You can have so much information in your hands that just consistently have that you're not going into. And why spend all the time typing in dates, right? The intro date is about 10 keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why do that when you know your order's on Wednesday? Type in WE, type in Tuesday, TU. Reduce the amount of time you're spending on manually inputting documentation. Put this in front of your team. Put this in front of your order entry team. Put this in front of the sales team, the people that are entering the information. They're the ones that actually need this as well. So you can definitely share it with them. You can give them this information, but maybe giving them these tools can definitely speed up their process and save them time so they can spend it on more higher level volume. So let's talk about payments not applied in the last 30 days, right? You have an accounting person, and one thing you want to always look at is the payments that maybe haven't been applied in the last 30 days. You definitely want those to be applied. So you can definitely set up a filter. I did here, document type payment greater than 0. And I did T for today minus 30 days. There's where I'm doing that dates formula, 30D. to today. So it's just going to cover the last 30 days. So it's always going to rotate no matter what. And I can just consistently keep up with that. You can do the same thing for credits. Maybe you want to make sure all your credits are applied. Remove your system filter and just do credits as your document type and do the last 30 days. So you're consistently, hopefully you're better than me. And you're maybe applying them every 10 days. So if you're having a hard time keeping up with those kind of different things, this is a great way to put it in the hands of your team members, and they can have that with them. Okay, so another example. Maybe you guys have a list of items that you want to get out into the customer's hands, and you're calling these the hot items. I called it hot items, but maybe these are like your very important items that you want to showcase to your customers. What I would say is maybe you could create a hot list. And I did the pipe in between that allowed me to cover these 3 items. But maybe you're saying to yourself, I only want it to be hot up until the point that I get to 10. And then once it's below 10, I don't want it to be on that list no more. And you could definitely pull this out to Excel and send this out to your team and consistently update it every single time that those items go under 10. And this list could be, I did 3, but this list could be 200, 300 different items, right? So you take all those items, you put it in there, and you want somebody to manually track every single time an item goes below 10. Why not set up that formula? Why not set up quantity on hand? And then that's going to auto update. You're not going to have to take the time and filter out and be like, oh my gosh, what do you mean we sold? Now we have 0. We only want to get it to that threshold. I use terrible examples with under 10, but hopefully you can understand the accuracy that can happen and the flexibility that you need to create your own advanced records. So where could a filter benefit you? Maybe it's sales orders. Maybe it's things that are not yet filled, or sales orders by region. So I'm just going to throw out a couple different examples because that's the whole goal and idea is inventory lists, low end items by category, blocked items, project management. You could filter by statuses, active project, customer list, credit limits. You can maybe say, I want to have a filter that shows credit limits that are over 40,000 or something. Balance greater than the terms. You can definitely do all that. Permission filters. You can do finance reports, current month, last month. Now, remember when I said you can create this stuff and you don't, because you attended the training, right? You want to be able to impress your boss a little bit, right? And be like, I created this for you. So definitely get in there, create the formula. And what I would say is you can either share this to teams and put it in the hands of the people that need it. Because if you're constantly supplying them with that information, you want to put it in their hands so they can stop emailing you every single month. Or you could just attach it to an email if you want, and then it'll just consistently show them that you built it every single month. But you could also copy the link. This is going to share with them that filter. They're not going to have to create the filter. That filtering is going to follow that link because it's going to abstract that information and share it with them. So And I like this little martini guy again, so I'm definitely going to share him with his 3 little olives inside of his head. So maybe you don't want to save it in BC. Maybe you want to create a bookmark or a list that you can save. You can actually bookmark this to your Chrome, your Firefox, your Edge, whatever platform you're using. You can actually bookmark this. I bookmarked hot items. So maybe you're saving this and you're like, I just want to see those hot items consistently. I did sales orders today for UPS today and tomorrow. And this is going to allow you as easy of access as going to any kind of browser on your website. Then I want to talk about the BC app. Hopefully everybody's with me. Hopefully I haven't lost you yet. Hopefully your minds are racing about all the different things that you're manually entering, manually sending to people, and you're thinking about how can I put that in their hands and get it off my desk, right? Increase your productivity so you can focus on things that mean more to you. I want to talk about the BC app. I'm a mom of 5. Sometimes I have to leave the office frequently, and the BC app has been a game changer for me. I don't know how many people are out there using the BC app, but I'm a huge fan. I actually always have my iPad with me just in case I have to run out. I can almost always work from my iPad. And that's a lot based on the fact that I have my filters, but then based on the fact that I can send invoices, documents, I can go into BC, I can look at sales orders, I can almost dissect anything, give somebody a price. And all of our sales team walks around with iPads to our customers to display information. And I've set up a tremendous amount of filters for my sales team that can display to our customers a better way to share our items to the customers. So I'm going to share real quick a screen recording I did on my iPad where I can go into BC. I've opened it up. I can click on those 3 little lines and I'm going to go to items. And then if I click on those 3 little dots, I have all my saved views. So as you create your filters and you save them, hot items in 01 versus 02 versus, you can do all your different locations. That's going to gear it toward them. And it is a lot more friendly to view. So you can see at the very top there, I was able to, add the different view you want. So you either have list or picture. And I think it's very presentable to the customer when you do the filter. You can see I'm a little bit of a crazy person when it comes to filters. I just get in there all the time and just have so much fun creating different things. The team comes to me and says, do you think we could do this? And I'd be glad to help you. If you guys have any questions or if you want some insight, you're definitely welcome to throw it in the chat. I can't promise I'm going to come up with the answer right away. I'm hoping I can, but definitely check this out. Check out the app if you're not using it and you are a person that has to leave the office here and there. The app is a game changer. Okay, Shirley, I get it. Filters are kind of cool. Maybe I could use them, but am I going to use them? I would say you're already using them. You need to become more engaged in your filters, your formula. This is the first thing. Like if you're just getting started in BC, I feel like this is a huge segment you need to take on because filtering can help change the way you're doing things. Maybe when it's your printing, do you know it's already asking you for filters? What filters do you want? Number of times printed. All this stuff is going to ask you that. I could take this document. I've got 2 orders in there and I could take this and I could print at one time, attach, right? Send my email, attach, send my email. But why would I do that if it's for the same customer? I can print both of those documents, those invoices, and then I could send it to them in one PDF versus sending 2. So knowing your filters, knowing your formula, you can even filter out a PO number. Maybe you want to pull all those PO numbers together. You're going to do your stars and you do that PO number because maybe somebody typed it in PO number, maybe some typed it in a different way. You can pull up every customer. Maybe that customer wants all their invoices sent together. This is the way you're going to do it. Formulas and filters are the way that we are using it in BC every single day. Filters and formulas are also what made me more confident and comfortable to be able to answer questions about workflows. Can I separate things out with purchase orders that are greater than 40,000? Can I separate things that are under 10,000? Maybe I want it based on a certain location. Maybe I want it based on a certain status, a payment terms code. When you start to explore all the different options of filtering and the opportunities that are there, then you really start to explore that how can you do things better, that maybe a workflow isn't going to one person and they're delegating it. Maybe you could break it up into different categories. Maybe it's all the purchase orders that are from this dollar amount to this dollar amount, A, B, C, right? Also reports. Why would you spend your time running an aged receiving report if you only need it for one sales rep or you only need it for a certain payment terms? it's going to take a lot longer to go through all the information. And if you're pulling out to Excel anyways and dissecting it, go ahead and throw your filter in beforehand, save yourself time. You're not sitting there waiting for that report to run. So don't bog down the system when you don't have to. Analysis. So I'm going to talk about analysis real quick. I'm not going to do a deep dive or cover into it a whole lot, but I want to say that analysis is the coolest thing ever. And it has so much potential. If you love pivot tables and you love Excel, you're going to love analysis. And now it's built into BC, which makes me super happy. And you can also save this information as well. And you can generate different things. This is great for accounting, end of the month. I just love the formula and the opportunities that this is. So I did circle what it looks like. So definitely get in there and explore analysis because it has so much potential, and hopefully at one point I can do a talk about this as well. Now, I know we all love Copilot, right? I know I sure do. It's built into my Outlook, into Word. It is almost everywhere. It's in BC every single place I go, and I absolutely love it. It has been a game changer in helping me. It's in BC, and it has suggested lines, bank reconciliations, marketing text. And I know this whole presentation wasn't about Copilot, but did you know that Copilot also can help with filters? Because it can. Filters, it can help you create the filters that maybe you don't know how to create. So, if you get off this call and you're like, I can't remember how she did that, you can maybe ask Copilot. And I'm going to show you an example of that. And here's a nice little martini. So Copilot is used to make filters. So one thing I would say is if you don't get it right the first time, try again and try again. And definitely give the thumbs up and thumbs down. You're going to train Copilot the right way to do things. And we definitely got to give it that feedback. So you can explain this one. I wrote items in stock under $10. So I just want to see items in stock under $10. Very simple one. As you get more complex, it's going to be a little bit harder to dissect, but definitely keep at it, keep going with it. Simple things like this you can look up. And what did it do? It said items in stock under $10. It popped this up. Bam! I didn't even have to go in or remember anything, and it just pulled it up. And I've got items and page. And when I click on this item, that little blue tab that's kind of highlighted, when I'm able to click on that, it pulled me right into quantity on hand, unit price under $10. And then I have that list. And I can save that if I like it. I can save it as a list that I frequently use, whatever you want. But you don't have to know all the formulas. I mean, Copilot's there to assist you, but you can have a lot more fun with it when you understand and learn the complexity that formulas and filters can have. Okay, so let's talk about our key takeaways. Remember, I told you I'm not here to solve your problems. I hope that the knowledge and information that was presented hopefully solves some of your issues. Hopefully you sit down tonight and you're able to dissect the information I said and say, where are you consistently sending out information through BC? And can you create that into a filter? Can you create that into a list that you can share with that team member? Are you constantly sharing information through Excel? Is there a filter that could solve that? Is somebody making a mistake and not entering information? How can you consistently save that information and put it in front of their hands? And I know BC is ever changing, but one thing I would say is filters really haven't changed that much because they're super cool and they have so much possibility. It's very flexible to your needs. So take the information you learned here and hopefully go and solve it. I love filters, and I mean, I do love a good martini as well, but I do love filters. So they say every good presentation ends with a good quote. So I had to throw in my own little quote that kind of related to martinis as well. So simplify your days like a martini unwinds after work, right? And we always want to unwind and simplify the things that we're doing so you can spend more time with the things that you enjoy, a balanced and enjoyable life, right? I do want to note that a lot of the information comes from our community and our support. And that's why I'm here, because I want to share the impact filters have had on me and the workplace that I have. I'm no longer sending out those records consistently to the sales team, and now they have it in their hands, and that's taken off my task completely. I put it in their hands. I told my boss they have everything that they need, and I no longer have to send that out, and they would agree as well. So go up to your question mark. There you can get help and support, community keyboards, keyboard shortcuts, community. And if you ever have a question that maybe I can't answer, hopefully I can. But if you ever have a question, there's a whole free source of information out there. Think about that. You could just throw it out there and somebody's probably going to guide you or direct you on how to do it. So definitely lots of information out there. I also want to say thank you. Thank you for everybody who voted for me. I am sticking around for questions at the very end. I hope that I can answer everybody's questions. I'm very excited about filters. I'm excited about the opportunity to be in the community. This is all of my connection information. It has my phone number, my email. It also has a TikTok where I do a little bit of post about different tips and tricks. But this is all my stuff that you guys can see and hopefully interact with me. And I'd be glad. I'm an end user, so I'm not a consultant, so I don't sell myself out there. I just want to share the knowledge and the VC platform and what I've been able to do with it. I also want to call out a couple people that I've been super thankful to be part of my mentoring team. And that's Sean. I'm super thankful to you. Everything that you've done. You've been a great mentor. Leadership has been amazing. David, thank you for encouraging me and your positivity. I do appreciate Mary Godmother. She's like a fairy godmother, but she's definitely put me under her wings and definitely trying to increase my information to be shared. So thank you, Mary. I do appreciate you so much. And most importantly, you, because everybody that attended, everybody that voted, I'm so thankful to every single one of you guys. Hopefully you guys gained a lot of knowledge from here, but remember, this is customizable to you. It's flexible. So use the knowledge that you have and definitely make it work for you. That's the whole end goal. And that's it. So thank you. And remember, I'll stick around for questions. Hi, everybody. I hope everyone had a great time at the presentation. I guess it's going to take a minute because it's lingering, but I'm going to try to go through a couple questions. I know I don't have much time. I know we answered a couple different things on the filtering. So I know Sean sent out a couple different quotes. I'm going to first go ahead and try to find this one. Saving the filter views. I think somebody asked that. Saving the views, you're going to hit the three dots. So you're going to hit the three dots, and then you're going to be able to save it. Hopefully you guys can hear me, but hit your three dots and save that to your profile. I'd be interested in why you have so many shared, I guess. Maybe login VC. Couple other things. I see a couple other questions, and they did give me a time limit. I'm glad to answer any if anybody wants to send me an email. You can share and publish these. I see there's a question about save filters only be invisible to users who create them, or can they be created and published? So you can take that save view that you created, and you could do the share teams, or you can also copy that link, and that'll allow them to get into that filter that you created and all the information right at the fingertips. You're able to share that with them. Why are formulas a little difficult? I would also agree there's multiple ways to address and handle the different questions. Type as you speak. I do type or talk really fast, and I don't type as fast. But yes, there's lots of shortcuts out there. I'll definitely save all these. Some of the different questions. Love the martini, filter martinis with vodka only. Okay, I could dig a vodka martini for sure. Thank you for all the positive comments. I really do appreciate it. I just want to try to get to a couple more questions. For all the types of filters beyond what you've shared. I would say they're out there in the community everywhere around. They are lots and areas. Go to your community, go to your question mark and look in there. If you ever need one, you can also email me. There's a whole group of community people that can definitely help out as well. So I'd be glad to throw it out to them and see if they know a good filter for it, but definitely throw them out to me anytime you need to. And hopefully eventually we can build a whole area for that. I know that Sean's Life Hacks has a bunch of them as well. So he has a whole list of all kinds of formulas and filters that you guys can use. Seems like mine are all shared. I'm excited that you're excited to practice these in VC. So that's amazing. That's the whole point. So I don't see a whole lot of other questions. It seems like everyone enjoyed the filters. Hopefully you guys get a chance to go use them in your workplace and have a great time. So I hope everyone had a great time. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody's feedback, and thank you. And I'll see you at the other trainings.